Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of 2M2H. I am Billy the Kid. I am accompanied, as always, by my main man, the Mighty Ayo. Ayo,
what up, buddy? It's
how you doing?
Good.
Good to be back, huh?
It's good to be back through all this craziness.
On a normal level. This is episode number 14. I was hoping it would be 13 because today is Friday the 13th. Yeah. So that would have been kind of cool, but that's all right.
A lot of
stuff. We don't need that
Friday?
much bad juju. There's enough bad shit going on right now. Today's topics will, as usual, I will dig into AO and his love life. We will do updates on us, as well as what's been going on with us and the frequency of our shows. We'll touch all the major sports, NBA, MLB, PGA, tennis, you name it, regarding the retarded coronavirus, and we'll touch on that for a while and our personal takes on that.
Yeah, that's kind of taking over right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, today's special guest is Chad Cline with the Waterfront Group. He'll be here in the second half with us, so we're looking forward to that. We've got a lot of history with that guy.
Exciting guest.
His, I guess you could almost chain.
Would you say chain
bar and grills?
Chain of bar and grills.
Doing really well. Without any further ado, how you doing?
Dude, I'm doing good. I feel I've been hearing a lot of good says. You don't want to be too crazy, but I don't feel this is part of life. But that with the coronavirus, it's kind of has me all swirly a little bit.
Well, yeah, no, I hear you. We'll get into that a little bit. I gotta start show as usual. Gotta maintain tradition. So what's going on with the girlfriend thing? How's it going?
Well, it's still going.
Still going. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, this is kind of long now. Like, how long has it been?
It's going talking about the frequency of shooting. I mean, we're already going 5 months, and I think when you and I talked, we're going about 3.5 months, 4 months, what have you. So it's been a good month since we record, and
how long have you been with her is what I'm asking.
It's going on 5 months, about
5 months? Oh,
two months living situation.
Okay, that was my next question. Obviously, you guys are living together now. Yeah. He took the plunge. How's that going? I know you haven't lived. Have you ever lived with a girlfriend?
I have. Okay. When I was like 33. So this is and I always thought if you're going to do it, I believe you should do it before you get married. And
oh, for sure, without a doubt.
Yes.
There's so many things that you learn about a person when you live with them. Their little idiosyncrasies, and they learn about yours as well. Weird things that you're like have OCD stuff about. What's
just
acceptable,
even how you handle
what time you come home. How you leave
what you're going out with your friends.
Seats.
Oh, the toilet seat.
If you leave dirty dishes in the sink, there's all kinds of weird shit that goes into it. I know it took me a long time.
When you move into someone, when it's their spot specifically, and how do you make it your place?
Oh, that's tough.
And then being aware of that.
Moved into her place.
Yeah, and then them being aware that she actually, I gotta have to say, she's read books. As meditated guy as I am, and self help, and listen to Tony Robbins 24/7. You
haven't pulled out any stones or incense or anything on
no
there, right?
Stones, no
shaman stuff.
No shaman, so it's normal.
Good.
But
good.
Yeah, she's been down. She's aware. Like, she knows. She's read articles that say, hey, if you want to welcome your guy in, you got to make it your place. And she's been doing little stuff.
Yeah, you got to make it both of your place. That's got to be tough too. If you live somewhere for a while and you live alone and it's your place, it's got to be tough to have someone move in and it's almost like invading of your territory.
Totally. She's never even lived with any guy before. And,
oh, really?
And when I found out, when I thought from before I told you that she. That gentleman that stayed there, she never met her parents. I'm the first one. I just met her parents recently, for actually last week, and for the first time. She's never introduced anyone to her family either. So she's that tight knit. So this is like, and she's a very controlled.
Oh, cool.
So
that's a good sign.
Yeah. So I'm breaking down barriers. I'm breaking down my own barriers of my deposit moving in. We just ordered a king size bed, and I don't know. It's feeling more like home, I guess. I don't know.
Now, how do you feel when you're there? Do you feel like it's home now?
Oh,
even
totally.
though you moved into a lived-in situation, or
I like the
location. Cool with it?
Yeah, I like the location. How our one bedroom is between two people. I like it. I like my desk area now.
It's an apartment that's built for two. You know what I mean?
So.
Like, some places are built for a single person.
Yeah, it has
some places are built for a couple. So it's
I think
cool
it's
for
a couple for
big
sure.
Enough.
Yeah, and it looks over the slough.
So I got to ask you, like, because I know it's happened. Like, What has she fucked with you about? Like
The toilet for sure.
the toilet's always
the toilet.
what about the toilet? The seat up, or like
Always
not wiping
up,
the fucking rim
that
off,
too.
or well, come on, man, that's common courtesy.
Yeah,
You're a fucking
correct.
It's 2020. Like if you don't wipe the fucking seat or the rim after you piss all over it, like
I'm just saying I'm not perfect. I do. I'm just saying some
Okay,
people that could pick up
okay.
like they could be doing the same thing in a different way, but you choose not to pick on them, you know.
Well, the best piece of advice I could give you is choose your battles wisely, because otherwise you'll find each other nitpicking each other to death over dumb shit, and then 10 minutes later you'll find yourself going, that was a fucking waste of energy. Like that was, now I look like a dick because I'm complaining about something.
And I'm not gonna lie, alcohol. Anytime you get alcohol too much,
for sure.
and then you especially
Blah, blah, blah.
and not even just that, like tempers, like jealousy or what have you, and it's just I don't know. I don't think getting too buzzed is not too good in any relationship.
It's tough. It's tough getting banged up when you're with your chick sometimes.
It would be cool,
especially fresh.
Yeah.
In 4 years from now, like hypothetically, you're together in 4 years. I hope you are, because I love her to death. Then it's easier, because then you've dealt with each other's shit for so long, it doesn't matter. You know that even if someone acts like an idiot, you guys are going to kiss and make up in the morning. Now, first impressions are lasting, so you don't want to scare them. She doesn't want to scare you into thinking like, oh my God, what did I do? Who did I move in with? You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
totally.
All those kind of things.
And then it's so easy in her situation. If it didn't work out, I'm the one kind of like, left out. I need to find a location that would suck.
Yeah, then you're ass out. And then you're the burden then, too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, oh, when's this fucking guy going to get out of my house? You know what I mean? So you don't want to do that. Don't burn any bridges. Take it slow. If she went through the effort of reading books and learning how to accept someone into her home and treat it as both your homes, that's
Okay.
good. That's good on her.
True.
Kudos.
Okay. So
let's get into it. So what's been fucking up now?
No.
Because I'll tell you things that I've dealt with in the past, and it's kind of weird. Like you mentioned one thing earlier today, and I want to touch on this because it happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Why is it when you're in a relationship and you live together, or even if you don't live together, actually, but if you go out with your guys, like say you're like, oh, I'm going to meet up with a buddy of mine for happy hour.
Yeah, just happy
I'll be
hour.
home, like,
even decent
9-ish.
time. Yeah, 9-ish.
Why is it that same day that you go out, they fucking have to go out and do something that day, or vice versa? Like if
we could chill home.
is it because like you feel like
competition?
you're abandoned? Is it an abandonment issue that
There's so
people
many
have?
stuff they could do at home. That I know there's stuff that they before we
'Cause
left.
I don't have that. Like if Carrie tells me she's gonna go do something
I'm all cool
with Deanna or somebody, I'm like,
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
That just means I grab another bottle of whiskey or wine and I'm at home on the couch watching what I want to watch on the TV.
Exactly. I don't
and
understand
I
why.
gotta deal with shit.
Maybe-
But I'm older, so I'm just wondering, because even though I'm older, if I go do something, it's amazing how Carrie will have something magically to do all of a sudden.
Well, to me, like whether it be work, a hobby. I started doing this cover band thing, so there's 2 days a week. There's, like I said, maybe there's this when we can, but no matter what, I know it's important to me. She treats this like I'm going out or something. This is like going out.
Thank you.
And to me, it's like, okay, no, I have to plan. I have invested money. I hope it goes somewhere.
We have to plan the whole show. We have to have it. We have to do this kind of shit.
Yeah, we have to get like
think
friends
and
like
write
Chad
all this shit out and
get
plan
cool friends.
accordingly.
Your time
it's
is.
not as easy.
It's like
as
we
it
have to
seems.
take a day out, and it's kind of like, to me, nothing's ever work if it's fun. So I don't know, like.
I think it comes down to you nailed it on the head though. I think it's the F word. I think it's fun. Because you're not allowed to go have fun without them.
Yeah,
That's what it boils down to.
You know what's so funny? I heard
That's
that.
true. No, you can't have fun without them. How dare you? Like,
is that what we just learned right now?
And I'm not blaming solely women on that. I know guys that are like
That's
that too.
true,
Well,
true,
she's
true.
gonna fucking go. But
That
like
true?
it's not like you and I are sitting in a bar, like in some crazy PB atmosphere or something like.
Correct, but
Sure, we're sitting here bullshitting and having some cocktails, but it's still a little different. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's basically it's the it's the fun thing. It's the F word. It's like if you're having fun, they got to be having fun. Otherwise, it's not fair.
Okay, so in this time period of figuring out what if this is for us, in which we have took the plunge of thinking it is because things match up physically, mentally, and whatever spiritually, but there's some stuff that are off. What would be important? Do you have any key fetishes that, like sexual positions, or like do you do something like if you liked and she wasn't into, would that be a deal breaker for something that you really wanted?
You know what? It doesn't have to be a deal breaker. It's got to be something that if you're open and honest with your partner, you have to let them know that, this is something I'm really into. And
that's what I want.
We just took a turn. Now we're into.
No, this is what I want to know because I need to. Because I want to know how to approach this because this is important to me.
Now we're on Loveline with fucking Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. No, it's important because if somebody's not willing to participate in something, as long as it's not something that's physically hurting them or something like that, I think there's got to be an open. Honestly, the bottom line is what I've learned is there's got to be an open line of communication. Because if you
but how do you approach
don't have
it?
that, you have to man up and talk about it.
Yeah, but and how do you do you allude to it? You say,
well, you don't want to go overboard with it because then it cheapens the moment, though. You don't want to cheapen the moment because if it's something they know that turns you on, you want them to do it without doing it solely out of obligation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at,
and that's hard.
Yeah.
So I think communication is key with that, and just let them know, like, hey, why wouldn't you, like, you should check this out, or if there's stuff you're into, like, I'm down, like, let me know.
Exactly.
We're guys, we're fucking pig slobs. We'll do fucking anything you guys want us to do, like,
especially if we love them.
Pretty much. Yeah, and if you love them, and the same goes for women. If she loves you and you bring it up in a sensitive, understanding, type approach, I'm sure that she would be willing to at least accommodate somehow, or try to talk to you, or maybe maybe she'll explain about how that brings back a bad thought, or you know what I mean? Like, you never know.
True.
It's a very wide spectrum of.
In my mind, like that's gonna like take me over. Like, hey, see future, like because they say the girl can just be giving you sex, and then once you get married, things change, right? I want someone to like always when we're old. This is someone that's knows that hey, this is what someone needs,
Yeah, but that happens with time. Like, you learn the more you participate. For lack of a better term, you'll start to learn what turns each other on and what gets each other off, and that kind of shit you just develop.
Yeah,
that's a developed habit. You're not going to find that with everyone. The first weekend you start hitting the sheets. You know what I mean? That's not at our age anyway. Not unless you're like 20 and everything's fantastic. Then that's not feasible. So
we'll see this.
Work on it. We'll touch up on that. That gives us a whole new topic. Sex ed with fucking Billy the Kid and AO. Yeah, I like it.
I don't know how it went there, but.
So since you've lived together, have you guys had any parties? You guys had people over to the house? Like, because it's kind of a housewarming since you're living there now.
In a sense,
she's had the record. We have not been invited over at all. They live 5 minutes away.
No, she's invited her good friend, one of her best friends growing up, had her and her husband. That went real well. I think she's Mike's came down. She's kind of put out the air mattress for him. No problems. Just there's a guy that I play guitar. He comes often. Everything's been pretty respectful, and like I kind of put my stuff up for the week. What's my plans? That's why I put a counter. So hopefully she could take a look at it. And
how does she take all your little? Okay, I'm trying to think of a word.
She allows me to smoke marijuana.
Very constructed though. Like, this man has a calendar with events for every day of the month, and he's also got a goal calendar, which I think is amazing. Like, everyone could do better by having this, but we're all lazy fucks, so we don't do that. But I admire the fact that you have like goals set. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, and I wake up at 5:30, and she likes to sleep. She's an 8, 9 hour, 10 hour girl.
Chicks sleep. Like, that's just back to life. Women are sleepers. Like, that's.
They're wasting so much time.
I know. No way. I wish I could sleep more. Like, no way. I love to sleep. Like, no way. I just my clock wakes up at about 5:30, and I'm like, oh my god, fuck, is so and so going to call? Am I going to like what's going on at work? Like, what am I going to do about this problem or this problem? Like, because we're always problem solvers, or not problem solvers.
Yeah, we're problem
worriers. Women are more problem solvers. Usually.
True that.
You'll learn that as time goes on. The more you live with her, a lot of the shit that seems like fucking crazy to you, she will have a sensible and just sensible solution to everything, and you'll be like, oh shit. And then you'll start to realize more and more when you hear like married couples joke about who's the boss, or I gotta talk to this person about it, because fuck it, it's just way easier. Trust me, because 99 times out of 100 they're right. It's just how it is. We have a Neanderthal thought process, and they overthink every fucking facet of the day. So they have a solution or an answer for everything, and that's just how it is. We're primates, and they're fucking light years ahead in evolution, if you will. It's a hard fact of life.
But kind of going on to like what's besides our relationship right now, this coronavirus that we kind of allude to, like it's hurting her work. She's in the industry
it's hurting our economy so bad. I just don't understand. Okay, before I go on a rampage now, give me your take on everything, and then I'll follow up with mine.
My take, essentially from today, that this has been an ongoing situation, and it's been known about. It's been an outbreak. Now it's in the United States. It's very contagious, and it has a high probability of spreading. And it's causing, and they know if we don't do anything, it's going to spread. There's no doubt about that. So it's real, but
they think it will spread,
and it is. It's spreading pretty quick. But anyways, it's causing everybody to not want to interact essentially with each other. So and all the things that we do, sporting events, football, all the sports that are going on right now, any parties of 250, I think the governor was saying.
Any public gatherings of 250 or more people.
So the first industry, the restaurant industry, done.
That's like telling me you're going to have sex with one woman in 250 with a condom and the rest not, and then that's deemed safe. That's absurd.
Exactly.
That's not. You either do it or you don't. It's not. I just don't think it's the numbers today. The problem is speculation. I think all these doomsdayers are speculating on what if it spreads harder. Well, you know what? What if my aunt had a dick? She'd be my uncle, but it's not the case. So why is everyone so fucking over the top concerned? Like, okay, the toilet paper thing? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
why are people buying toilet paper? Every fucking store. I just went to Vaughn's earlier tonight.
Everywhere.
Wiped out. Everyone's taking photos of Costco, Vaughn's, Ralph's. Every fucking place, no toilet paper. What is toilet paper doing for your coronavirus?
It's going to bring the bidet back.
How are you preventing it by having extra toilet paper? Do people think we're really going to be quarantined to our homes in the United States?
You can't be toilet paper. You need food also. Why not just take? That's just one facet.
No, it's. But let's move forward now. Ramen.
Yeah.
You can't even buy ramen on the shelf. Yeah. You can't buy canned beans. Yeah. Water is getting scarcer and scarcer. That one's easier, but fucking ramen now.
And they're saying we have enough.
Ramen is
they don't have a shortage of toilet paper. People are going to hoard so much that they can't fit anymore. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to have stuff because they're done hoarding. They'll be filled up. There's enough toilet paper. They're not out. They're just people that hoard up. They'll be done hoarding.
Well, it just sucks because the stores are. What people are forgetting is. When you hoard up on toilet paper and hand sanitizer, the cause of the virus spreading is from everyone washing their hands and being clean, not just you. So you have to maintain there should be a limit on how much you can buy, if anything, because everyone's got to be clean, not just you.
How do you put regulation on it? You can't put regulation. It's like
absolutely, you can put a limit on anything.
Yeah, I guess they do that. Hey, you can only buy 3 eggs. You can only.
It's ridiculous. I don't understand.
It's the real deal. It's hurting the industry.
But the numbers, like everyone's got their own opinion about the fatality rate, but it's still not even scratching the surface of influenza. It's not scratching the surface remotely of swine flu. It's not scratching the surface of bird flu, of SARS, of everything else. Those other viruses killed so many more people. It's not even funny. Now, I understand people are trying to prevent. Like, I get people being concerned. Like, I'm not saying don't be concerned, but if you just maintain a healthy lifestyle and just wash your
Do what you
fucking
do every day.
hands and
You'll be good.
don't cough in people's faces and cover your mouth and don't touch your fucking face all day long. Like, I don't understand why
The
this
handshake's
is
out,
any
out of the
worse.
realm, I guess, now, too. The handshake.
Oh, I know, dude. I at the bar the other night, some guy was like, "Oh, trying to fist bump me, elbow me." I'm like, "Well, here's my handshake." And fuck you. Like, I don't understand. Like, the one funny meme I read was that I'm not a guy saying I'm not worried about the handshake as much as I am the toilet paper shortage. So I don't want to shake your hand because of that. Like, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm not a doomsday person. We've been in this position before. If you look at statistics, every election year there's another virus that comes out that the media.
But
The media has blown this out of proportion. If you talk to a doctor will tell you, calm the fuck down.
They will.
Every doctor you talk to will tell you to calm the fuck down.
But they're putting stimulus packages that are needed right now because people are small business specifically.
No, you're right. The economy is suffering because of it, but it's because of the media putting this hype on our country and making everyone buy into it. If the CDC is not telling me to not live my normal day-to-day life and just keep your hands
But
clean.
they have quarantined a couple states like Ohio on this, so they're actually doing
There's
shit.
no quarantine states.
Like how Italy's quarantined.
There's no quarantine states in the U.S.
Not
No,
quarantine,
there's
but they're the schools where they're telling people to stay home.
That's not quarantine.
I understand, but
That's the same thing as canceling, because right now they're canceling, all major sports are canceled. Major League Baseball is postponed 2 weeks. The NBA was the first.
Disneyland.
All golf, the latest PGA tournament is postponed.
UFC?
The tennis, whatever the next big tennis competition is postponed.
Everything's going on right
They
now.
canceled March Madness. They can't. I mean, like, what the fuck?
March
Like,
Madness. That's crazy.
I can't believe. Now think of. Okay, I'm not a big Mark Cuban fan, the owner of the Mavs, but one thing he said that made the most sense the other night when they made the decision to cancel the NBA season is, he's like, what are we going to do about all the employees
Yes.
that depend on these sports to happen? This is a business. It's not about the fans. It's a business. And what are we going to do with all these millions of people that work in the sports business that have no business? Like he mentioned, because he's generous with his people. He mentioned having some kind of
Donation for his peeps.
yeah, some kind of payment for employees and everything. But not everyone's going to do that.
Not everyone's that lucky. And here's the thing. If anything, obviously, the good comes with the bad. We're learning from this. We're going to be better if this ever happens again. We haven't been through something like this. So it's making us gut check. I know it's making us, in my personal relationship, it's making us look at so many different levels. What's important? People are going to be more conservative about how they spend their money for sure. They're going to probably want to save.
It's crazy.
This is good to me to make, like, I think we're getting too luxurious and getting too, like, I know we were expecting a recession, but this is kind of forcing it.
I just think that at the end of the day, the root of all evil is the media. I just believe
That's what we're learning right now.
Without media, this wouldn't even be a hype. Dude, when all those people died from swine flu during Obama's administration, when he had Biden and Bernie underneath him, nobody mentioned anything about the swine flu or the deaths. There was no pandemic. There was no school closings. There was no fucking jobs closings. There was no professional athletes stopping.
To this.
And we've lost the amount of people that died from that is astronomical compared to where we're at now.
It is the media. In a sense.
We're on the what if page right now, and it's just killing me. I'm sorry. It's just me. I mean, I don't believe the hype.
But when
I physically speak to doctors and nurses in my family, and they tell me, Billy, it is bullshit. Don't believe the fucking television. Carry about your business. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Just, obviously there's going to be infected people, but if you're under the age of 50 or 60 and you're reasonably healthy, and you don't have respiratory issues, you're not going to have a problem. Even if you contracted the virus, it is nothing worse than the common flu, and you're going to be healthy again in 3 days, and that's the end of it. I can't wait for Tom Hanks and his wife Rita
to get better
in a few days,
and
then everyone will be like, "Oh, well, maybe."
If they can do it, we can do it.
They treat it like it's the fucking Black Plague. Like everyone who gets it is like going to whimper away and die immediately.
Yeah, like they're the weapon of.
They talk about Italy. Italy has the highest fatality rate. Italy also has the oldest people in the world in that country. The average age of death in Italy is 81 years old.
And not even that. If someone's kind of sick and they get this, it's all it is going to push them.
And that's a bummer. And again, I'm not saying we shouldn't.
Have
like
sympathy,
do something.
empathy.
No, I'm not saying we should just be sick fucks. We should just continue to wash our hands, keep hand sanitizer handy, and limit physical contact with strangers. Like I get that part, but I don't think we need to change our lifestyle.
It's going to change the bidet market. People are going to get.
Dude, I want to invest in. I'm buying stock market sucks right now, but I want to invest in a bidet company right now.
Me
like
too.
Immediately, boom.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's the two things. When we get back to the show, let's talk about where this coronavirus is kind of taken, because
trust me, by now to our next show, which will be in a few weeks, a lot will have changed and a lot more news will come out and a lot more people will be pumping the brakes.
And I don't want to be a bummer about this, but again, it's hit the restaurant industry, and I know our next guest is Chad Cline, and we're
gonna ask some questions about it, if he's felt any effects of it, because obviously it's a public place, so people are avoiding public places, especially bars, because there's a lot of physical contact. Handshakes and hugs and drinking out of glasses, and especially now in California with the straw ban, and nobody wants to touch their fucking mouth on a glass. Like, you've got to trust that the establishment washed the glass good enough. So it's tough.
So talk about, before our next guest comes on our next half coming up, let's give a little intro and how you know Chad. And
we'll touch that when we bring him in. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Chad Cline, he's one of the main investors with the Waterfront Group. Chad and I met when I tended bar at the Waterfront eons ago. He was just a young lad. I actually taught him how to bartend. I'm going to give him shit about that when he gets here.
He comes in
he's done everything he told me he was going to do when he was in his early 20s. He had a vision about how he wanted to open multiple spots and continue to grow. And I got to give the guy credit. He's done exactly what he said he was going to do. He's very business-minded, very sharp, which you'll see when we bring him on, and it's going to be a pleasure to interview him.
And it was cool because we got to work for his grandma, and that we both work at the Waterfront. I used to work at their East County bar, and it was just cool to see him grow up
on the rocks, baby.
On the rocks,
East County. I filled shifts,
and and that Nancy kind of started. She opened couple bars.
This all stems from Nancy Nichols. God bless her. She's a genius. Yeah. When she bought the Waterfront from owning, what was the name of the bar? She had a bar in PB, which is where you perform sometimes.
Oh, 710 Club?
Yeah, it used to be called, I'll ask Chad. We'll get to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
She used to own that bar.
No way.
And she sold that to buy the Waterfront in the early 80s.
That's awesome. So anyway, I can't wait to get the whole story.
So, let's take a break. I'm going to save my UFC update with you till the second half. Maybe Chad saw it, and we'll pick up from there. So, in the meantime, give us just a second. We'll be right back. We'll have our guest.
All right. Peace out.
Cool.
No sponsors?
Oh, thank you.
We got to sponsor.
How dare I forget? Any of you guys have a commercial business, whether it be restaurant, retail, hotel, motel? If you need any fire protection, look no further than National Fire Protection. They cover all things from fire sprinklers, fire alarms, suppression systems in your kitchen, fire extinguishers, you name it, they cover it. National Fire Protection, you can reach them at www.nfpti.com or at 1-800-966-4697. National Fire Protection.
Episode 14, 2M2H. Peace out.
All right, buddy. See you in a minute. Hey, guys. Welcome back to 2M2H, episode number 14. I am Billy the Kid, and as usual, I'm accompanied by the mighty AO. And now, in person, we have our special guest, Mr. Chad Cline.
Hello.
Who I'm going to have to get some info on if you have a term for all the successful bars you have, but we'll get to that in a second. But Chad does own several very successful bars in the San Diego area, which we all frequent and love. I want to first get into some history with AO and Chad and I. We've had the pleasure of working together back in the day, like 15, 20 years ago.
20, yeah.
I worked at the Waterfront for many years, and I remember meeting Chad for the first time when his grandmother and mom told me, like, "Hey, you need to train my grandson how to bartend." I'm showing him everything else behind the bar, and I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." And I got to tell you, Chad, like, you came in, and I was like, "All right, who's this fucking kid gonna be?" And you came in, and you took it like, boom, like you didn't hesitate to help anyone, or like his level of accommodation was through the roof, which I do think has succeeded every bar that they own. I think accommodation to customers and customer service is something that is far superior to anywhere else that I've been in town. And I will touch on one place where the customer service fucking beats me to death. It's so good. But I know,
this
like,
service, goddamn it.
I
know,
like it.
I know you do. No, trust me, when I get into it, he and I battle about it. Because I'm like, God damn, like,
I'm like,
it's too good. Like, wow, can customer service be too good? But I'm fucking finicky weirdo.
No.
Anyway, so
it's exciting to have Chad. Friday 13th.
So it is Friday the 13th. Again, I was hoping that this would be episode number 13, but we're a little ahead of ourselves. It is episode number 14.
Missed it by one.
That's okay. Too many black cats and walking under too many ladders might be bad. Anyway, just a little more history with Chad. I mean, immediately when I met him, I clicked with him, and he hung out with me and a couple other close friends. And I do remember spending time at your Mission Beach house.
Yeah, you took
over
him
there
under
on
your
Island
wings.
Court. Mm-hmm. Oh man, we had a lot of good times. You introduced me to all your friends down there from the beach, which are all really, really cool people. Love them all.
Did you grow up out there the whole time?
I grew up. Well, I was with my mom, right? So we grew up in San Diego. We were around San Diego, and then moved to Texas, and then we were all over the place. Me and my mom, and then. When I was about 10 or 11, I moved in with my dad in Oxnard, and so I was out there for like 5 years, and then I came over to San Diego and went to Mission Bay, and but I always basically from San Diego.
When did you start surfing? Was it when you moved back?
When I moved in with my dad, probably about 10 11.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I know it was.
Oxnard's Ventura.
That's right. Yeah, Silver Strand Beach was. I
just remember when I first met you, like that was an important part of your day. Was
for
was
sure.
hitting away
Surfing
and
was everything
sure.
to me,
and living right there, like.
Yeah.
Like his house, I don't know if you were ever in his house, but his house like fucking surfboards everywhere, and it was like a surfer paradise place. I remember the tapestries and all the shit you had hanging down there. It was
a lot of the tapestries were to catch the termite poo, but they were there. They were decorative.
Cool. Yeah. It was an older building, and since now it has obviously you guys have gutted it. Tore down, remodeled.
So you guys own that property too, right?
Yeah, my grandma had it. Oddly enough, we're staying in it right now. But it was just a family house, and definitely some good times there. And since I loved surfing, I don't think there was really a better place to be.
Because it's pretty much on the boardwalk area, right?
Yeah. Mission Beach.
Island Court is one block behind, Sandbar now. But
you're in the thick of it. It's like a theme park area,
Dude, back when your grandma first had that place built, like how many weekends did we spend in there? Like,
oh, dude.
Well, let's talk about how far this
crazy.
relationship goes back. This relationship goes back about 20 years, right?
20 years,
just about, yeah.
Yeah, and so like how you said that these were your best years. So Waterfront.
Oh, I wouldn't trade out of the 28 years now I've tended bar in San Diego. I wouldn't trade my Waterfront years for anywhere.
Because it's the oldest bar in San Diego, right? Is that what
it is? Liquor license numero uno. But the
really?
relationships I made there and the growth we had in Little Italy from when I started there in like 98, 99, and how that neighborhood changed, which is astronomical now. Like we were just joking about like how it's.
They were special times though. It was fun and it was different. I think at that time in San Diego and in the bar scene in general too. Like. Everything's so professional now in the bar scene, and back in the day, there was a bit more, flex.
It was a more melting potish. Like we had the construction guys.
It was more of a house party, I think, a vibe of thing. And Waterfront is definitely still a house party.
Yeah.
Which is what I think we kind of offer is like that nice like little injection of chaos, like there's just enough chaos where it's not dangerous, but it's it's got that level of fun where you feel like you can talk to anybody.
But there's a comfort level.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
You feel
for
like
sure.
you can talk to everybody.
It's a Cheers-like environment.
For
very
sure.
Cheers-like.
It's Cheers-ish. Yeah.
Waterfront is the Cheers of San Diego, without a doubt. There's no bar that can match the intensity
I think so
and
too.
the level of accommodation. I hate continuing to use accommodation as a word, but it's that way. You walk in the door and immediately you're greeted and you're offered a drink, and
I think
and
you'd have
people, even the staff there, introduces you to people sitting next to you. Like it's a good vibe.
And
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
the door gentleman works there. Why am I blanking out on name? He's still there.
They've gone through several
No,
doormen.
you still have from back in the days.
No.
I'm
They-
not
they-
sure.
They finally changed.
Kevin's still over there. Kevin's still doing his thing. He's been there for a long time. Gary the Toast Man is still back in there. Cooking up toast.
And is Chicho still there?
Chicho's still there.
Chicho, like little history. Chicho is the keeper of the world class
Pozole
recipe there.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I think Chicho. Okay, no, I'm probably wrong with
So
this,
the
but this
pozole keeps
was
him
the
in
joke.
business.
This was the joke back then. Chicho could fuck up at work and know that he had job security because he was the only one who had the fucking pozole recipe. And
it's so weird.
This was again.
No.
20 years ago,
But Chicho, somehow he was the one person of everybody that he could basically. He would, some days he just wouldn't show up, and then the next day he'd show up and he'd be like, Chicho, where were you? And he would straight up tell you, Baracho.
Yeah,
you know,
Baracho.
Yeah, and you'd be like, all right, Chicho, we'll just get back. Let's get to work. It
Make up for it.
Yeah, all right. Well, for some reason, he definitely does. Hoard his recipe a little bit.
I would too.
Yeah, I don't think
guy,
that.
On another note, the man does cook up some
He does.
mean food.
Everything?
He was the heart and soul of the kitchen then. I don't know who is now, but
Ray over there right now is doing a good job. But they're all those guys back there.
is Julio still there?
Julio's not there.
Oh, he's not? Okay.
No, Julio's not there anymore.
So
I'm trying to think of the guys that I worked with, which we could go on for
Yeah,
days about.
because
that,
we
but-
could talk about all the scenarios. How'd you? I mean, we talked about it before, but how'd you get into it? You said you started surfing and you took it. I remember you to Australia trip or something.
Yeah. So the reason I had done back end stuff since when I moved back in with my mom from my dad, it was 14, 15. And so I went back over, and I obviously just get brought to work. And so my grandma would start teaching me the books. And
That's
so
cool.
I started doing all the book work stuff, or anything I can do on the back end, like putting bottles away.
Did you do ordering stuff and learning all the liquor?
I would have all the meetings with the reps. Back then, it's more streamlined
It was a
now.
simpler time
Yeah,
back then.
you'd have reps come over and you'd have these conversations with reps, and so it was very I don't know, it was more casual. And,
Even my dumbass did liquor ordering. For a
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
years
yeah.
there.
So
it wasn't.
it was definitely we were doing ordering,
We did-
but it wasn't like some responsibility. The reps handled basically the ordering.
Yeah, because they could see, they could look at our shelves and tell you what we need. Okay, we need obviously 2 cases of vodka, 1 case of gin, 2 cases of Jack. Just by looking at it, it was that.
You would handle the bottle that you didn't want. Like when they sent you some crap, you'd be like, Steve, God damn it, what the hell, is
Always Steve,
yeah, absolute fucking Pepar grape. What the fuck am I gonna do with what am I gonna do with
So
this?
he's putting it in there. You're all, what the?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, it's
Well,
a
they always
combo.
try to sneak a combo.
It's a combo. It's a
promo deal
combo.
in,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, fucking combos, man. And so you just have all these little rogue bottles of fucking shit booze that.
So anyway, so you learned the back end of the business, the financial side. And
Well, I was going to Mission Bay at that time, and then get through Mission Bay, and I went to kind of a trade school. And then after I graduated there, we took this trip to Australia, and I really liked Australia. It was like it was a surf mecca type of a place.
What Sydney, Australia?
We went to not Sydney, we went to Melbourne, and then after that we went over to Surfers Paradise and Gold Coast, and went up through there.
The Mecca.
Yeah, and it was really cool. And I went actually with a friend of mine, a couple friends, but one of the guys' names was Shane Hall. You know Shane. And
Sugar Shane.
and he knew this crazy bouncer down there that had hookups with the bars. So when we flew back, one of the first things I wanted to do is oh, okay, well, I don't really have any responsibility right now. I just graduated from this trade school thing, so why don't I just learn bartending as a nice trade that'll take me through surfing through Australia, because I just want to surf. So if I had that job and I can just bounce around from bar to bar, and there's this inn that Shane could give me, that'd be nice. So let's learn the bar side.
It's a traveling trade.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
can go
being
wherever.
A barber,
exactly.
bartender.
Yeah, it's a good skill, and so I said, hey, I'd love to learn how to bartend, and of course, it's my grandma's bar, so she puts me on Friday and Saturday nights, which is great.
To be honest,
throws him right to the wolves with me. Teach him how to bartend on a Friday. I'm like, a Friday? Teach him how to bartend on a Friday?
I thought I was going to be coming over. That's why I got sent over to Rocks. Oh, this.
Oh,
you got fucking shafted.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
Later, bro. East County, you go.
But honestly, your mom, I moved into him. She's the one that introduced me to your family. So it was like the blessing. Like into the times that we even got to bartend, it was fun. So
they always say nice things about you too,
we always had good times there. I mean, I worked I don't know how many years. Because it ended up being Chad and I were the main bartenders on Friday and Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. And man, you guys had.
I remember back then we had.
And I used to work at
Richie
the bitter
was our bar back.
Richie was the bar back.
Oh, he got the.
No, I got to tell you a story. You're gonna love this one. Okay, this is one of the times I got called into the office by Chad's grandmother, and we were in trouble.
we
got okay. So Nancy installed cameras in the bar.
Of course, she had to.
And she watched the video of one night, and she was less than impressed with how many shots of Jaeger that Chad and I had done the night before.
Oh my God, was it a lot?
So she counted, and this is no joke, because she counted, and she said, "How?" And she doesn't swear. But I can't remember if she swore.
She probably swore.
I think she swore, but if I remember correctly, she was more or less like, how the fuck could you guys do 38 shots of Jägermeister each and still bartend?
It was crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, especially at that age too, and we'd wake up no hangover or nothing too at the time.
It was weird
because we'd go to Denny's afterwards, and I'd get fucking country fried steak and eggs and cheese sticks.
Chicken fried steak.
How do we do it, man?
Hash browns, sourdough toast. Like the waitress at Denny's knew me personally. That's how bad it was.
Every we'd get over there like 3:30. After
we wouldn't even have to order. Just be like, hey, yes,
you guys,
you fucks,
But I thought it was a joke. The number until she had the video and showed it. Now, mind you, they weren't like rocks glasses full of Jaeger. They were like the 1 ounce or.
There was different people that would purposely come in to try to bury us, though. So it's not necessarily.
How many of those guys?
There would be a team of people that were purposely trying to come in just to fuck with us.
Outshoot us.
Yeah, and so like we would have 3 different people going on, and I'd be pouring over here, and Billy would be at the end of the bar. Chad. And then I'd come over there and be like, motherfucker.
All night long.
Bah! And then,
now, the one thing I can say is, sure, we drank way too much. But we brought in a lot of fucking money doing it.
We built because when we first started, there was very slow days on Fridays and Saturday nights, honestly. And then when we came
nothing
in,
like today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even after the few years that we kind of teamed up and were making like a nice consistent scene where we were showing up for work every Friday and Saturday. Like nowadays, everybody calls out all the time.
Oh, there's always
so many calls. Yeah. There's so many call outs. Like when we were working, you didn't call out. You showed up every time, no matter what.
No matter what.
It was law. It was law. You knew Friday, Saturday night would be Billy and Chad.
You appreciate it.
Yeah, and the guests when they're coming in, they appreciate it too. So they go in. If one of us was missing, usually Billy, because Billy was the star for sure.
Billy, Billy, you are the star
for
San
sure.
Diego.
There's no doubt. I would be
caught up and was just as much of a star.
That's a lie, but that's kind of the dynamic of how it ended up working. I'd be like this little more quiet workhorse type of a guy, and Billy would be like this. Where's Billy? Where's Billy? Where's Billy?
And everyone loved Billy.
Yeah, it'd be this thing for sure.
That comes from the repetition you were just talking about. It's got nothing to do with
that's why you were there.
It's just like people get used to seeing a certain face. Like even to this day, like where I work now, if any one of the bartenders isn't there, if I'm covering a shift, people lose their fucking mind, whether or not they're a good bartender or not. They're just used to seeing that person.
Nah.
Yeah, people.
But I appreciate the compliment.
I think you're selling yourself short, but nonetheless, it was a nice time.
But that was your bouncing board, your little springboard. Where you
I kind of fucking killed it at Waterfront. Okay,
but what? Besides,
they had a good thing going.
There we go. Just let it out, man. Let it out. There you go.
Was it with was the ladies is the best part of being a bartender, or the money?
Are you trying to get me killed?
I'm a married man. Like I'll talk about boozing and taking shots all day long.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
No.
I'm about to get married, so I go.
I'm just saying. There was a lot of people there. I'll just say that.
There were people there.
Very crowded. And you know what's funny is one of the bands that used to play there religiously. Remember Cold Shower?
Oh yeah.
So the drummer Alex, I still talk to all the time. He's my garbage man.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, he does the recyclables. Well, here's the weird part. Before I moved here in Point Loma, when I was in Bankers Hill, he was my garbage man over there.
Following you around.
Yeah, so I moved here, and he's instead of Wednesdays, he's Mondays here. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? So anyway, he and I reminisce. He loves the old Waterfront times, the old Saturday nights when Cold Shower played. It was a great time.
Yeah,
I mean, we
sure.
had the bar packed. Like, the bar may be insane right now. Like, I know the business is through the roof, and you guys are killing it now. But we couldn't fit any more people in when you and I worked either. Like, that bar was nuts to butts when we worked, and
it certainly felt like that. You know, at that time too, though, it was just me and you bartending, and then Richie would be bar backing, and so like
bar drinking.
Yeah, I remember just
love you, Richie,
we would
but
torture
Jesus.
that guy.
Richie.
Dude. I remember getting pitchers of cranberry juice and pouring that down the back of his shoe, like almost on a nightly basis. You know, like that little spot in the where your Achilles
down his
is.
sock.
Yeah, so you just pour it down the back, and then you just have to walk around in red cranberry juice squishing all over.
I remember one night I walked into the walk-in cooler to grab a 6-pack of beer, and he was in the walk-in with we had miniature bottles of White Zinfandel, and he was in there fucking slamming a White Zin bottle.
He did not care?
Like, bro.
He was like, a different time.
Well, Chad and I fucked it up with the Jaeger shots on camera, so we couldn't drink on camera anymore. So Richie thought he'd be fucking clever and go in the walk-in and found White Zinfandel bottles.
We were more disappointed than upset. White Zin,
dude,
White
what are you
Zin
doing? White Zin?
Jesus Christ, man.
So
have some self-respect, you know.
Besides being known for the oldest bar, the food's amazing there too. That's what keeps people coming.
Well, hey, you know what? Let's not make this a
Waterfront.
We can talk about this all day.
Yeah, because this could go on for years.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Chad's new and latest endeavors, which are legendary already. Like, people, I hear about your spots all the time. I hear about every aspect of every one of the places. So I want to talk. Okay, so when you branched off in the Waterfront, was High Dive, I believe, was your first endeavor, your first purchase with a buddy of yours?
Yep.
Okay, so he went and opened High Dive. I remember helping Reed, like, getting the place built out.
That's over in Mission Bay area, right?
Yeah.
It's on West Marina.
Yeah.
Great bar.
Bay Park. Bay Park.
They, Chad, you couldn't help but tell that Chad had a part in that because of not only the customer service level, but just the ambiance and the atmosphere. Like, Chad had built the LT Shrine, like. And this was back when the Chargers were, like, in the limelight, when they were, playoff bound every year and they were doing well. Like, the bar was electric, and I'm sure they're still doing well. But I know you had the High Dive for a number of years, and then you ended up selling your portion to open another place with your wife over at Harbortown, correct?
That's right.
And Harbortown, if you guys haven't been there.
I hear, that's all I hear.
Oh, my
girlfriend loves it.
Like,
nice.
The bar is great. The service is always phenomenal.
Cool.
It's, I notice how old I get by how when I go into some of these places, how the vibe is so young and strong there. When I feel like I'm all like 48 now, I'm feeling like I'm little past the prime of the hot spot there. But the food and the service is phenomenal there. I love going there during the day for lunch. Your bar staff is great. Like, everyone's super attentive. Every one of your places that we're going to talk about.
Wednesday karaoke.
Yeah, I've seen him murder a couple songs there.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
that was
cool.
That was ear cancer. Anyway, so Harbortown, and then so now, God, you've got a fucking slew of places between you and your cousin Rocky. So what happened after Harbortown? Was it Werewolf? Was that next?
Werewolf was after Harbortown.
Okay, so Werewolf, if you guys don't know, it's downtown on 4th Avenue. Great spot. Like, again, great food. Like, the tacos there are like the jam. Like,
yeah, I think that the most known thing over there is the brunches.
Really?
Yeah. Those are the things that I think drive a lot of the business, is the brunch, and then yeah, there's we try to section it off into catering to each block of the day, right? There's brunch, and then there's like this time between 3 and 9. That's kind of a different bar, and then from 9 to close, it's kind of a different bar again. So
What are the weekends like there? Like weekend nights, like Friday, Saturday nights?
it's karaoke over there too, and
Because every time I walk by, it's full. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of times I don't go in because it's full.
Yeah, it's nice and busy, but like when we first got that spot, in my opinion was okay. I'm going to try to do this neighborhood bar in the gas lamp because there's a lot of people that are moving to the gas lamp. There's all these sky rises that have come up, all these condos.
Everything's nightclubby.
Everything's nightclubby, or everything's like kind of this rip-offy type of vibe where you're going to these different bars, and they're not really liking you. They're just kind of
too many regurgitated concepts that go on down there.
Yeah, well, there's everybody's a number, and there's no real love, and we're gonna make this like neighborhood bar.
That's tough in the gas lamp.
Yeah, I did not know that, but you're 100% right. Yeah,
gas lamp's tough.
Yeah, like
because I worked down there for a while after the Waterfront.
Yeah, and people, you know what? People told me
tough.
that. People told me that, but people tell you that every time. So like people go, oh, it's tough at Bay Park. Oh, it's tough at Point Loma. This
Always be deterrents.
This spot is cursed. This spot is cursed. So
obviously you found a niche there and something's working because it's been successful.
I was definitely wrong. Like a neighborhood bar in the gas lamp doesn't really
translate.
It doesn't
it's
really
tough.
translate. There is it doesn't jive.
Too many fresh faces all day long. There's not enough regulars.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's more of like where you'd go to Harbortown and there's probably like a 70-30 mix of locals to new faces, and over there it's flipped to
all new faces, right?
30-70. Like. And so, and that's just the nature of how that spot's going to be forever, or any spot in the gas lamp. That's how that works. Because the majority of people, 70% of the people in the area are
probably not even a bad mix. Even getting up as 30 is probably a fair.
Yeah. I might be that might be high, honestly. But so when we got in there, I was expecting to be able to kind of generate this buzz of a spot that was going to cater to the neighborhood. And that did not happen. So when we were first in there, it was real tough. For the first 6 months, I was like, whoa, because I was expecting to open up the doors and then people were just
lines out the door,
I was
like
kill it, and
like Henry's or something.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, if Henry's can do it, I can do it. Or Barley Mash had opened, I think the year before. And I was like, well, Barley Mash is a good spot, but I'll be more receptive to making connections with guests and stuff like that.
Do you find that 4th Avenue is a little tougher animal than 5th Avenue?
Yeah,
it's definitely tougher, but I mean, there's pros and cons to it too. But I mean, it's definitely tougher. But
it gets better and more populated. Because obviously things are stretching out obviously now, but
I think that when you go to 5th too, the lease rates skyrocket too. So there's also
everything's rah rah.
Yeah, and so I think that yes, it's nicer to be in an area that they fence off and then add 100,000 people into it, and you go, oh, that's nice. We're because we're about to have St. Pat. Well, actually, it's going to get canceled, but the St. Patrick's Parade would typically be on 5th Avenue. And then they would inject a ton of people into there, and then obviously those businesses are going to do good for that day. But 4th Avenue doesn't get that type of stuff. So, like all those types of things, you're like the black sheep of
yeah. But you know what? But with that being said, those places on 5th Avenue that have to rely on those kind of situations,
they become cliches
to make those
that's
lease
what I'm
payments.
saying. To me,
it's a make or break deal. Where if you have a steady on 4th Avenue and you don't deal with that shit, you might be in a better position.
The best spots to me in all the gas lamp are Ocean Air. And I mean the bar at Ocean Air. I know it sounds crazy, but
I'm a huge fan.
It's so good. The
happy hour is retarded.
There's a good personality to it. Everybody's very happy. And then La Puerta. La Puerta was like the spot to me of like this was neighborhoodish. You worked there too.
I opened it just so you all know.
It was good. It still is good. I haven't been there in a bit.
They kill it. They still kill it.
Yeah, but it was like
welcome,
oh man, it's a good spot, and so and those are both on 4th. So
it gave you the inspiration.
I don't think that those spots necessarily gave me the inspiration. I kind of just it opened up because it was this place called Gaijin, and we were over in it popped up this a broker we use. His name's Paul Ahern. he said, hey, there's this Gaijin spot that's opened up. Do you want it? It's at this price. And to me, I was like, that seems like a pretty good price, you know. And then we just got in there. And then, you know, we had to do this remodel, you know, within a certain time frame.
But you know what's crazy? A lot of people will just lease places. You're buying it and taking it and owning it and doing the whole development. That's crazy.
Well, no, the Werewolf we
downtown.
don't. Werewolf we don't own, but I wish we did. But we don't. We did do the build out ourselves. Me, Rocky, and a buddy of mine named Ken built it with us. You know, because we couldn't afford to do it otherwise. You know, so we would
That's
go
crazy.
in.
To buy downtown, you have to be that's corporation of another level. I mean,
It's tough.
And no disrespect, obviously, but
No.
you're in hundreds of millions capital type shit to
They don't
to
really let
own
them
a
go.
building. And then I was just going to say, and you don't find stuff for sale down there.
They don't let
Everything's
it go,
for lease.
yeah.
Like that's been handed down for legacies. Like there's no for sale stuff down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that place was Werewolf was known for a brunch. I karaoke there and party there. I love it.
Well,
Okay,
you know,
so-
what ended up happening was that we were being very, you know, like what we do, which we try to connect with our guests, make sure everybody's leaving happy, and really, you know, get to know people's names and make sure that, you know, if something's not the way that they like it, we fix it, and, you know, like just being, just being nice, you know, like just being nice, like that's all. Like it sounds crazy. Even one person said, they're like, "What's your concept?" When we were going in over there, and we're like, "I'm just going to be nice," and they were like, "That's the dumbest concept." They didn't say that, but they're like, "Okay, you know, like that's not a concept."
Yeah, but nobody has that concept in the gas lamp.
I know. It was,
Nobody does.
I don't think they
like
do
we
either.
tried it at La Puerta, and it's just like it wears on you the caliber of downtown douchebag people that come in. I
Yep.
mean, it's tough to
It's
keep
really
your
hard.
happy face
That's
on.
true.
It is hard.
You have no idea. Like I've worked in dive bars my whole life, and I can tolerate all the douchebaggery that comes in, but downtown,
Those guys get some
you have
shit.
to have an extra layer of skin
'Cause everyone
to
from
deal with these
everywhere-
Yeah.
frosted tip 7 jean wearing motherfuckers that are bedazzled that come in
Yeah.
and demand shit. It's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough because you got to maintain. You gotta be accommodating, but it's tough. It's very tough.
Yeah.
Like, these people are very difficult to work with. So kudos to you. So before we dig too much into
Well, that's what I just wanted to touch on. The that's what made like the Yelp thing. I know that people have strange opinions about Yelp, but the Yelp took off for Werewolf, and I think it took off partly because of the name, and then the other part because we were truly, genuinely trying to make people happy. And so now I think we have about 4,000 reviews with a 4.5. So when people
That's amazing.
it's a lot. So when people come in, they go, oh, well, I'm going to go check this spot out, and then it sets the expectations really high too. So when that makes it more difficult, right? So they come in with these expectations.
'em.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we're still, our GM's name's Kristen. She does an amazing job, and we're just, that's our only focus is just keeping people leaving happy, and things are going good.
It's funny you mention that because that's the one thing I noticed
when you set
about
the
like
bar
when I
high,
looked
that's
up
strong.
when I've looked up Werewolf in the past when I found out it was yours and not that I'm a big Yelper, but I do use it as a resource because
Yeah, do
it's
it for
got
Amazon.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's got everything listed,
Right.
and your reviews are astronomical for Werewolf.
Yeah, they're
like,
really high.
Like are they the highest of any of your properties?
Yeah, they're definitely the highest.
I mean, it's like every single review praises either
Yeah.
the food or the service or your managers or like.
I think it's top 5 in San Diego
It's
as
amazing.
far as rated on Yelp. Like with the consistency at which we're being rated, and
Right.
then the level of the star. I think that we're like top 5 when you search us.
It's weird. Like when I was at La Puerta, one of the owners like spent I thought too much time back then on Yelp and
It matters.
and taking the
They do good too,
criticism
yeah.
to
Oh,
heart.
yeah, right.
Oh,
because of that downtown animal that comes into some of these places,
Mm-hmm.
which I know you have to take with a grain of salt because there's going to be good and bad. But
That's tough.
like
on the
we've had
ego.
some good ones, some bad ones when I was there. But man, fucking Werewolf, like, there's no bad ones. Like
Yeah,
there's-
I mean
there's no bad reviews.
there is.
It
I mean,
is.
they're in there, but
Well, there's always going to be a random
Yeah, yeah.
idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about, who
But-
thinks
but
he's a food critic.
I definitely can relate to who was it you were saying?
It was Merritt.
Merritt, yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to that because I've had them, and man, they're just crushing.
It's crushing, and I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So
And back then, I didn't think it would be as important as it is now,
Yeah.
and it really is. Like so many people, myself
Social media.
included, if I look at Yelp and try to see a menu or photos, and I see
You judge
a
everything.
3-star, I'm like,
Yeah. Fuck that.
yeah, gee, I ain't
No,
going
yeah,
there.
it's done. Yeah, right. And not even being a Yelper. I'm not a Yelper either, but when I go travel around, if I see a 3.5 star, that's fucking out.
Yeah,
You know, like I'm not. Yeah,
I'll
later.
find the other
Yeah,
one.
I'm not fucking
Everything's
going-
a rating
And that
system.
Yeah.
sucks because
Yeah.
if you really look at the fucking quality of people rating or writing reviews,
Yeah.
half of them, I'm sorry, but half of them are fucking idiots.
But,
Like,
Yeah.
but it just shows you how much work you got to do to make yourself. If you started out bad, he kept and maintained. But if you start out shitty, you got to make your way up.
well, people will give you a 1-star if you weren't open.
Yeah, right.
Well, they wanted you to be
I-
there, and
I've had-
they don't understand how critical that one
Dude,
star is.
I've had 1-stars for not having enough vegan options, and we're not a vegan place. You know what I mean? So it'd be the equivalent of going to Morton's and saying, "I want a donut. I don't have a donut."
yeah,
Well, fuck you.
Fucking 1-star. Fuck you for not having a donut.
Right,
How
you know,
dare
like,
you?
Yeah, like, we're not a donut, but we're a fucking steakhouse.
And that's what I was
Yeah,
getting to
right,
with the
right.
Yelp thing. It's there's a fine line there, but I mean, I think when you're a place that's been established long enough, like now what Werewolf has been, and you see that many reviews, obviously it's a trustworthy 4.5 stars. So which is
we're
killer.
by that time.
So that was your second bar after Harbortown, Werewolf?
So yeah, moving on. Was Banzai next?
Then it was actually
Or was it Club
Marina?
Marina? Club Marina?
Club Marina, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that we were in negotiations for Banzai at that time, so it was Club Marina and Banzai were very close together.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it was
Both
Club
great
Marina.
spots here in the Point Loma area.
Crazy how he's like dominating. This is like the most richest area, like of all old school people.
You know, people think that I disagree as far as I do think there's money clearly in Point Loma, but I
It's
think that
more real estate money.
I honestly there might be, I don't know what type of money it is, but I know that they value, it's more about value. Point Loma like really knows how to spend their money, and so like if you like come into this area and you think you're just gonna overprice some fucking menu item,
Like Liberty Station
they're gonna
stuff?
tell you
They're gonna
they
call
don't
you
like
out
that,
on it, yeah.
You know, like and so they're not dummies over here. You know, like I actually, when I got into Harbortown, I just fell in love. I grew up in Mission Beach. I never really came to Point Loma, and I'd been to La Jolla, and La Jolla, like, great spot, but it just wasn't for me. But when I went to Point Loma, I was like, God, I love these people. Like there's a certain like
There's a realism.
yeah, like there's a
Yeah.
certain vibe to Point Loma people that I dig on. But they might have money, but they're not just gonna hand it to you for no reason. Like,
Oh
you
no,
have- you
there's a
have to
lot of
earn
people
it.
with razor blades in their pockets. Like, they want a good deal here.
Yeah, right.
No, it's true.
Right.
But anyway, so you went from Banzai, Club Marina, simultaneously. For whatever it's worth, Banzai used to be a lot of things. It was been a music venue. It's been a lot of things. I've had friends own that bar like 20 years ago. I got to tell you, like, I was skeptical about Banzai because I live in the area and Midway is fucking Midway. But when you walk in there, you don't feel like you're on Skidway. You feel like you're in a bar, and that's the one place where I wanted to give you shit about, because the customer service is astronomical at Banzai. If you're a customer service buff, go to Banzai, because if you're disappointed with service there's something fucking wrong with you. There's something fucking wrong with you.
Easy, simple menu. I
I
remember
walked in
bacon
the back
eggs.
door, and I was meeting Richie when he was here from Houston to pick up some stuff. I walked through the back door to the patio. By the time I was reaching out to shake his hand, and I had a gal right here. Hi, welcome to Banzai. What can I get for you to drink? And I was like,
Nice.
wow.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, I didn't even know what to say. I was like,
Yeah.
Do you
"Can
remember?
they-
Nice.
can they
nice.
give me a
nice.
second?" And then after that, he and I went in for lunch, and it's not the same thing. I mean, we sat at a table, killer food.
We actually had our 2M2H meetings there, several of them.
Oh,
There's
nice. Okay.
the wings are retarded.
Those are Maya's, yeah.
They're the Maya's wings.
Yeah.
I knew they were Maya's.
Yeah.
They're out of control. But man, I tell you what, if my drink was even down to here,
Attack drinks.
boom.
Yeah.
No,
Attack.
kudos to you. Kudos to you. But I'm like, God damn, like I
Attack
felt,
drink.
Yeah.
it got to the point where I felt like I was like, fucking, am I lagging? Do I need to drink faster? 'Cause
Yeah.
holy shit. Usually they hit you up when you're down a little bit, but wow.
Uh-huh.
And trust me, for me, it's a good problem to have. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
the customer service, every place I've been to of yours, I know that you have inbred the customer service with them at some level
that.
because you've always been. Honestly, in my entire service industry career, no one's ever done it better or taught it better than you have. And I'm not trying to
thank you.
Trying to fluff you, but you've really and I know you get it from your grandmother Nancy because she's the same way.
That's right.
And I think it's an inherited thing. But you guys, I've never seen anyone make a guest feel better or more at home or welcome or familiar than you guys do. And I think that's the level of success you've had. You guys could sell cat shit in a glass, and because of the way you guys treat people, I think you would be successful with it.
That's nice. You're right. It is not from me. It is from my grandma for sure. And I think that I was able. It was very much a benefit to me to be able to really watch her. Like when if you're there at 15, you don't really get a lot of opportunity to do much other than look. You know, and so when I'm in the waterfront, I'm all I can do is watch. Like sometimes she'll let me go and play some pool by myself or something like that. But for the most of the part, I'm just kind of like looking around and sitting or whatever. And maybe if I get told to go run and grab a bottle of this, I get to run and grab a bottle of that, unless I'm doing book work in the back. So I was able to watch my grandma see what she does. And it, she's a natural people person. I am not actually. It's not my natural state to like cater to guests at the level that my grandma does. It's definitely her natural state, but to be able to like pick it apart and see what she was doing, I was like, man, she built the business around herself, and I never wanted to do that. That was very important to me not to do that, actually, because if you build the business around yourself, you can't step away from it to go with your family. You have you have to be there, and as soon as you walk out the door, the business is no longer the same. And that's kind of how the waterfront was at that particular time. If my grandma wasn't there, then it was a different business, And so,
for sure.
And so what I wanted to do is go, okay, well, I remember what my grandma did. And we actually, it's funny because our whole thing is we have grandma's house. That's what we call it. We have a thing we call it grandma's house. How you approach your guest is a grandma's house philosophy. And if you want, I'll tell you how it goes.
Please do.
Okay. So
because people can learn from this because it's obviously a successful.
To me, whenever you go to your grandma's house, it's the most comfortable, best experience that an individual has. Like going to your grandma's house is where you feel the most catered to, the most safe, the most happy, you feel like a king when you're at your grandma's house. And it's not because she's a grandma. Like it's not like if your daughter has a daughter, then now you have the best house. Like that's not, they're doing something. All these grandmas are doing something. And what they're doing is, soon as you go to your grandma's house, you knock on the door, maybe you open it or whatever. What does your grandma do as soon as she sees you? Oh my God, Billy, come here. It gives you a hug. I haven't seen you. It doesn't matter if it was yesterday. Oh, where have you been? Where have you been? Right. And then it's an immediate compliment. Have you lost weight? You look amazing. What have you been doing with yourself? No, Grandma, I was here yesterday. I haven't lost any weight. Just go sit down. I'm going to bring you something in 1 second. She already knows what you want. She brings you your favorite drink. You have your favorite drink. She's already got food cooking. She's talking to you while she's cooking your food. She gives you your food. If you kind of don't eat something or kind of push something, you don't say something to your grandma, but your grandma goes, "You don't like your chicken, do you?" And then fucking boom, she comes in with new chicken, and she goes there, and you're like, "Okay, thank you, Grandma. I'm stuffed full. I gotta leave." Why? Why are you leaving?
Where are you going? Where are you never going? Spend enough time here.
Every time you come here, you're only here for an hour. What's your problem? Grandma, I gotta go. I gotta go to work. Okay, well, when are you coming back? Well, I'll come back in 2 days. In 2 days? You'll come back in 2 days? Yes, I'll come back in 2. Okay, I'll see you later. Thank you so much for coming over here. I miss you so much. I appreciate it. You leave.
I'll have the lasagna ready for you.
Yeah, I'll have yeah, exactly. And then you leave and you're like, dude, fucking, I love my grandma. When you're walking in your car, my grandma's the goddamn best. And if you really saw what happened there, it's totally teachable. It's not some magic thing, just be a grandma. If you just be a grandma, these people are going to come back. There's no way that a business is going to be able to beat a grandma's house philosophy. There is the grandma's.
That should
No
be
way.
a book, a grandma's house philosophy.
I'm telling you,
you could
dude,
put that
that's-
to everything.
That's fucking.
The
that's
grandma's
gold.
the grandma's experience is the ultimate experience of going to
Just human
any
interaction.
establishment. Yeah, whether or not you're selling a fucking pen or anything.
Yeah.
Like if you sell it in that way and people just see that you appreciate it, and you really can't fake it. That's the problem
that's
with
the other
it.
thing I can't fake
So
it.
so some people come in and you try to teach it to them, and there's certain people that just can't do it. It's just not in their heart.
They
Off a
don't
little
care.
superficial,
It comes off all bullshit.
They
And
have
so-
to. They have to care about what
they
they're
have
doing.
to, and so like those people are exposed very quickly, and you go, listen, this just
And then
isn't
you-
this just isn't for you.
Yeah, not a
You
fit, yeah.
it's just not a fit. Like I'm not going to force this on you. Like it's not about you. I'm not trying to say bad things about you. It's just not for you.
Because there's
you know?
plenty of places that don't have any type of customer service philosophy, like you were just talking about, where you walk in and you're just, like you said, a number. Those people can work in those kind of places, and you know,
And I go back
kinda
to
shine.
you naturally kind of gave from the Waterfront that you carried that spirit of that grandma's. You kind of did that. In the
Oh, I
beginning.
learned all of it from
Yeah.
there. I learned
Yeah.
all of it from there, because that was the first place I worked. Outside of like a restaurant, it was the first bar that I worked that I had to deal with food too. So like for me, it was like an extra level of customer service where you have to cater to people a little bit more. You have to make sure everyone's comfortable. You have to make sure the food's good. And we were proud of our food when I worked there. Like they still are. Like
That's
but
like the staple.
that's
I
one thing I
know
will
we
say
get
about
good
when I
food for
worked there
any
is
of
it was a pride thing. Like if you worked at the Waterfront, you were a proud person. Like because that was a landmark.
Can you give props?
And
to
I was
East
proud
County
for a
spots?
long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, Eastbound's under. My cousin has Eastbound in the hills.
Why are
and
you jumping the gun?
definitely the same thing going on over there. But I will add another thing about what I find when I go to other locations, and you know, even honestly, sometimes my own, when I'm seeing you know, certain people that are working within our group do this very same thing. But there's certain people that not only that do they not pull off the grandma's house, but they actually have disdain for the process. You know, where they're actually upset at the guests for being there. You know, like they're like, you know, like, what do you want?
Dude, all too often.
You know,
All too often.
and you're like, what do I want? You know, like
I'm sorry, I'm here to give you money.
Yeah, like what do you mean? I don't like, and honestly, I think from a generation standpoint, this is actually getting worse. And maybe I'm just getting older and more picky. I don't know, but
No, you're right.
But
You're spot on.
I'm seeing this happen more and more, where people actually have disdain for the person that's coming in. Like, how dare you come in?
Make me work.
Make me work. I'm going through my thing. I saw you sigh about the time in which it took. Like, what the hell? You know, like, and you're like, dude, what in the world is
Like
going
they had
on
to-
here?
It's the phones, man.
Yeah, I think the phone.
Well, it's the
you might-
millennials and it's the
That might be it.
entitled youth.
I don't think
I have
they
opinions
don't know
about a
how
lot
to
of it.
communicate. Like, some people are just not learning how to be nice. Like, they just don't know how to be nice.
Well, there's no communication skills anymore because everyone's
know.
glued to a device, so they don't interact. There's no kids outside playing with people and having to talk to people. There's no kids working jobs that we had when we were kids where you have to interact with people. Everything is technology driven, and there's no human interaction anymore.
Yeah, and it's so ironic when they're on their phone, how preachy their philosophies are on their phone.
yeah.
And then they're on
But then when it goes into the real life, it's just, what do you want?
The polar opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like you know, somebody's pulling out of a yoga studio, namasteing, and then
they're
like,
like,
what the hell's up with my parking spot? You know, like,
the
just
fuck
like,
out of my
get
way.
out of you know, like, whoa, namaste, it's on your fucking license. Like, what the fuck happened? You know, like, I don't understand what's going on. you know?
it's another actions speak louder than words.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah.
not seeing that.
Totally.
Right.
But that's why, you know, it's funny. Like, do you not like get excited when you go into a place and you get good customer service at this point? Like, I don't know if it's because I'm getting old, but I'm like, oh, wow, they actually give a shit and like greeted me and like gave a shit about like what I want and like like you don't find it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was at Jersey Bikes the other day and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna 5-star these fuckers on
Yeah,
Yelp right now
yeah.
because
That's good when they wanna
behind
make
the
you-
counter were like, hey
Yeah.
man, how's it going?
Yeah.
How you been? Like, what can I get for you today? What are you having? Like, what kind of, you know, like top to bottom? I was
Yeah.
like, wow, you have. And honestly, it's not about the place; it's about the management. And
It
I
is.
think at the end of the day, it's about who trained these people because people in their 20s don't have that. I'm sorry, it
No,
just
they
doesn't
don't.
happen.
Yeah.
So I always applaud the management for implying these skills in some of these kids to make it a better experience for you when you go into places. And that's, again,
And
at
even
the end of the day, like what I love about your places. Like, you are not going to get better customer service anywhere in San Diego than one of your bars. And we forgot one, that your most recent acquisition. We'll talk about Rocky's places in a sec,
Sure.
but Aero Club.
Yeah.
Kudos to you for buying Aero Club, and kudos for
landmark.
expanding it and beautifying the hell out of it. Like, I worked at the Aero Club back in 1992, 93 with a couple guys, but it was a beer and wine bar. And I got to tell you, when you walk in there now, like, it's still the same when you first walk in. Once you get to the end of the bar, you notice that there's booths where the old shitty, crusty bathrooms that had green goop dripping from the ceilings were. And then when you walk through the door, there's this killer arcade with not only pinball games, which has kind of been your staple for a couple of places, but they have a bunch of old school arcade games. And then it opens up even more to a pool room with a couple pool tables and this fucking
Is that new? Is that
badass
be there before?
Godzilla mural. No, they did all this.
Yeah.
They bought the print shop next door, correct?
Yeah, we bought the building because it was our understanding that the building was for sale and that they were courting different developers. And the thing about Aero Club is it's a hardcore San Diego dive bar. Well, hardcore is probably the wrong word. It's just a
Landmark.
It's an institutional San Diego dive bar. But the thing about dive bars is there's not a lot of people that understand what they are truly. Like we know what they are, but like the large percentage of like San Diegans might look at a dive bar and it's scary to them, like they just kind of go, oh,
It's punk rock.
I'm not going to go in there. That's too,
seedy
it's too
or
seedy
whatever.
or something like that. It's not that way. It's actually 100% the opposite. You're going to have, you could go into a lot of these glossy spots and have a much easier time running into a douchebag than you'd run into Aero Club, in my opinion. But
100%.
But Aero Club's just like a salt of the earth type of a place. You go in there, you're going to talk to some good people. So when I heard that, this place might get like eliminated. Developed, right? They're not going to develop it and then at the bottom of their glossy spot they're going to put we also have this dive bar. Like, that's not going to happen.
taking
Right?
What were they considering doing? Like condos or something?
Right.
Oh,
That was the idea because
that
there
would
was
have been terrible.
Yeah, because they weren't going to buy Aero and Bill the owner.
They would have just leveled it.
Well, Bill wasn't just going to let somebody come in and then buy the business. He was gonna leave, and then the building was gonna sell, and then that was gonna be the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we we're talking with Bill, trying to say, hey, Bill, you can't relocate this place. It doesn't work that way.
That's a right here.
It's
place.
right here.
Yeah.
It'd be the equivalent of moving the waterfront.
Right.
It cannot be done. So. He ego, and I'm not saying he's egotistically, he isn't. Bill's a nice guy, but ego gets a hold of you. I can do what I need to do. Like when you're in that place. I've been in that place, so that's why I know where his head was at. And I'm like, listen,
Tough to compromise.
Exactly. He's got Aero. Aero is his, and he's not going to let somebody push him around, and which he shouldn't. So we're negotiating this process, and I'm just the whole thing is I just want to make this deal, not necessarily I don't want to lose money, but I'm not trying to like go
you want it.
I just want it.
Right.
Like this
That's
was
strong, bro.
This wasn't like a
That's my legacy.
this definitely wasn't like a smart buy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
I've heard that. People
yeah.
talk about it. It's like over, like, I don't know much. My girlfriend, she's like, I heard this owner. She didn't even know I'm interviewing. She's like, they bought this and tell me little stories at what they're hearing. It's like,
Yeah, I don't think it was this smart. It's fine. But it wasn't like savvy. It wasn't. It was.
Yeah,
it
it wasn't a steal.
It wasn't a steal at all. And so we were able to make it work, and I was very grateful for that. And then we had all these ideas about how we were gonna handle the Dino brand space, that's what it was. This T-shirt shop next to it, and a lot of different ideas were floating around there. And one of my concerns was from a person that's gone into different dive bars and redone stuff. you can really piss off regulars. Like you can piss off regulars by doing very minor things. I remember at the Waterfront once I moved where the pitchers were located, and I got shit for
People
it. For
lost
about
their fucking mind.
2 fucking weeks where people
People
were like,
lost their mind.
why are the pitchers over there? Pitchers should be over there. Like, what the fuck do you care where the pitchers are?
No,
You know,
that was
like,
a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a big deal.
And then that's, you know,
when
like,
you understand that, it's crazy.
and so I'm like, I don't want to change this place that much. Like, even the bathrooms, they're shitty, but they're the Aero shitty bathrooms. You know, like there's heart for, you know, for it to a certain level. Turns out nobody liked the Aero bathroom.
No, they're the worst fucking putrid things.
So
ever.
so I didn't get 1 ounce of shit for that. But that was actually the one of the reasons that we you know, the expansion's called Dino Bar. I didn't want anybody to associate that I was turning Aero into an arcade. So I go, listen, here's Aero. I'm not fucking touching Aero. And then I'm going to make Dino Bar. And Dino Bar is going to have an arcade. And Aero Club is going to be exactly what Aero Club is.
Untouched.
And if you untouched,
ceiling's the same. All
everything
the
is the
neons,
exact
all
same in
the
Aero
artwork.
Club. So
Wow,
I'm
that's genius.
not touching fucking Aero Club. Dino Bar is an arcade. If you want to go into the arcade, go into the arcade. But don't associate the Dino Bar arcade with the Aero Club bar. And, you know, at this point you can do whatever you want, but I just wanted to make sure that I had, like, listen, these are separate spots, they're separate names, there's DBAs and all that stuff on it. And you know, it worked out good because they complement each other, you know. So they're like, there's a diviness to
I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, you'll have to go check it out. Like,
That's great.
There's nothing that's like, so the mural that's over there, and if anybody ends up going over there, it was inspired by Dino Brand and Aero Club meeting each other. So it's got this giant mural of like this 1940s scene of all these planes fighting Godzilla. So it's got the Aero Club aspect fighting this dinosaur, you know, and so it's like the merge of the two locations, and then you have all like the pool tables and the fun stuff that you can do now you can go to Aero without just liking whiskey. So then, and I think that was the goal, is like, listen, this is a really awesome bar, it's a killer dive bar, but there's so many people that don't really have any interest in trying to visit this spot because it doesn't really have anything for them. So
well, when you get tagged as a whiskey bar, people don't want
Right.
to. Well, I don't want to go there because they won't have any vodka. Like
Right.
there's so many of those weird hipster spots.
Did you implement
And
food?
what he did is, I was just going to mention, like the one thing we haven't touched yet is on that dino side, there's a roll up door which they have a guy that comes in and wheels in. Is it clay oven?
yeah,
It's a big, huge clay oven pizza, a big clay pizza oven, and every day he's there all day, all night, and he makes killer clay oven pizzas made to order. I've been there 3 times for the pizza. It's fucking killer.
Yeah,
Like,
Nick
the
knows
food
his
is
stuff.
It's brilliant to have
amazing.
kind of like on the outskirts of Little Italy where pizzas.
yeah, you know,
It's,
like
it's amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
you're in Little Italy, and you know, you want to, maybe you already had dinner, maybe you had dinner at 9, and then, you know, you're staying out a little later. It's like 11:30, and maybe your group wants a little extra, or whatever,
even
you
dinner
know,
earlier,
or dinner
because-
early or whatever. Yeah, but you know, like as far as Little Italy is concerned, and it being that close, there isn't really that spot that you can say, hey, I know what we can go do right now. Like, you know, sometimes people have spoken enough, and you just want to go sit there and be around your friend while you're doing something that you enjoy without actually having to have a conversation. And I think dive bars in general are really great for that, because there's so much to look at and so much action, you know, and like that's probably one of the top 5 things I like about dive bars is you can go to a dive bar with your friend and not necessarily talk to your friend and still have a nice time.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like
can people watch.
You can people watch,
examine things.
Yeah, there's so
watch
much
it on TV.
There's lots of interaction,
and you've offered so many more things there with the dino room, so to speak.
Yeah,
with the arcade portion, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
So what do you envision out of all these? Like more bars? Like,
yeah, where's the future hold for you, man? Just continued growth, or?
You know, I think I'm honestly getting to a certain point where, you know, like before, when I was in my 30s, you know, like my early 30s, like there was like, I was fiery about stuff, you know, like I really, really wanted
passionate?
Oh, he sat me down and he gave me his vision a couple times
like,
about all kinds of shit that he wanted to do.
Oh, really?
And he's lived up to all of them.
I was very fiery, you know, like I had a lot of energy, and you know, I have 2 kids. You know, there's 8 locations, and I definitely like like it's hard to explain, but there's just a lot. It's like
8 babies, right?
But imagine having 8 balloons that are not filled with helium.
Yeah.
You know, and have you ever played with balloons and like
To keep tapping them up to keep
yeah, you don't want any of these balloons to touch the ground, so you're just constantly like tap 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 tap, you know, and it's like they're all falling because that's just the nature of a business, and it just becomes a little bit like, do I want a 9th balloon? You know, like
correct. That's a good way of looking at it.
you know, and
That's a really good analogy.
we are doing a 9th balloon. We're doing one in La Mesa right now, but I definitely don't see me doing too much more than that.
Because there's Mission Hills, and that's La Mesa, right?
The
No.
Mission Hill, no, the La Mesa.
You own Mission Hills, don't you?
Mission Hills is Aero Club.
Yeah, that's the Aero Club one.
Oh, but there's not another
No,
one.
that's the Hills.
Oh, the Hills.
The Hills,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
That's
that's
La
the
Mesa.
Hills, yeah. There's a project that's happening right now in La Mesa called the Good Spirit, and you know, maybe that'll it hasn't completely closed, but we're hoping to, if everything goes as planned, maybe the beginning of next year we'll open up the Good Spirit. But I'd imagine that'd probably be it. I don't, you know, and I don't even mind the idea of maybe starting to like shrink down and just get back into just focusing on just the spots that, you know, like the true dive spots, you know, like Aero is a spot that I would, if my kids wanted to have it, or if you know,
It's a
my
great
cousin's
spot.
kids, or Waterfront, obviously that's the same. Club Marina, that's the same. You know, maybe the Good Spirit could turn into that type of location, but just more of these bar-centric type spots that don't have the food element in them, which the food element's great, but it's a different animal, you know?
Oh God, it's way different.
Yeah.
And I know it's so much more complex when you have kitchens to deal with.
Yeah, you know,
it's
I think that, you know, like especially the neighborhood spots, it just bothers me a little bit that I know that if I was at the neighborhood spots that have the food, they'd be better, and it just bugs me a little bit that I don't think they're like
meeting your
they're meeting
quota.
they're not like at the expectation that I would have for
Gotcha.
those spots. I think they're great. I think they're good spots, but I just like, if there was an owner operator in this spot, like I just think the neighborhood would appreciate it more.
Chad's obviously got a high expectation level because every place he owns that has food, the food is fucking ridiculously
It's
good.
good.
So,
Everybody does a good job.
so no, I applaud you for even
But
seeing things
that's
that the
interesting.
normal
That's
you know,
franchising your
consumer
business,
wouldn't
and then
see.
what you're saying in owner operator, because they'll take more pride in
I think they would, yeah. I mean, I definitely take a hardcore amount of pride in all the businesses, and I definitely am very focused on the product and trying to make sure that people are treating it like grandma's house and doing the whole thing. But, you know, you can only do it for so long, too, before, you know, you kind of got to, like, there's no way I can be 60 years old and there's these 9 locations like that.
That's a lot.
That's just too.
That's a lot.
I don't think that's realistic. You know, like, so something at some point. I mean, if we're talking about future stuff, I would say at some point, I'd shrink down unless I could last long enough from, you know, our kids or something.
I tell you what, if
your kids probably they might have the
Maybe.
same passion, and boom,
Maybe.
they're duplicating this process through Arizona, up the coast, and all.
Or people that we work with too, you know, it's like
Oh.
there's you know, there's GMs of these locations that have a lot of passion, and if there's a way for maybe that's the way to.
Because just like how you got a loan and learned how you could teach them.
That's right.
Say, hey, all you gotta do is just pass your knowledge and knowing that someone's
That's
gonna
right.
take care of what you do.
And I think I would take a lot of pride in that, actually, if you were able to start this certain thing that then, you know, you pass it on to this GM, and then they have their family that's set up off of it, and then, you know, maybe they do another one or something like that. Like there would be a cool thing to that.
See, that's
cool.
one of
That's
all
a
the
good
cool
concept.
things you said tonight. That's probably one of the other coolest things. The nice and that right there is like kind of passing it
taking
forward.
care of your own
mentality, yeah.
and keeping the same,
Yeah.
as long as all the same mentalities there, the grandma's house
Yeah, right.
mentalities there. I tell you what, man, even if you were to downsize, I'll tell you what, if you ever got bored, you could market your
Philosophies.
your philosophy with customer service.
Yeah.
That I think you could open a management firm. For
Oh yeah, you could do like
Seriously,
Gary V or
like
Simon
if I were
Sinek.
to open a new restaurant, I would
Oh.
consult with you in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
To
That's another-
get your philosophies to train my staff with.
I appreciate
I really
that.
think there's a lot there that you've built on. But I think the grandma's house thing is genius. Like
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's about feeling good, and that is a 100% perfect way to handle it, and, and not enough places do it.
Because life is rough enough already. You come into place, you want to.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing exactly that I think if anybody like, it's funny how good for the soul the restaurant business can be actually, because like if you really are in it and doing it correctly, like. You're making these people happy at this certain level. Like they're life is hard, you know. Like
you can be recession proof if you're continuing to, because people are always going to drink. They're always going to want to socialize and always going to be in that atmosphere.
Yeah, I think aside from the money and all that, like I'm just talking about like just for your like, if the job sucks, there's never going to be amount of money that's gonna make that okay. At some point you're going to be like, no, I don't want anything to do with it. But like if you just enjoy, like my grandma, for instance, my grandma would have zero issue with being a bartender until she fell over.
Yeah.
Because she knows what she does, even though I don't think she knows like consciously what she's doing, but she makes these little impressions with people, and she feeds off of it. Well, something happens like where she talks to somebody, and then this person truly lights up, and they had a hard day because, like I said, life is tough. We all know life is not supposed to be easy. It's a fucking difficult thing, and so you run into somebody that's going there to fucking relax and have a nice time, and then you're able to light them up, and they go, dude, that's exactly what I needed. It makes you feel good about yourself too. You go, oh, killer.
Nancy's never been one to worry about profit. She's always 100% been worried about making someone's day and making someone feel comfortable when they come into the place. Like since day one, she's always been, her first priority is all about making people feel comfortable when they come in, and addressing those things like you said, like when you're having a bad day, like she wants to be the place, that's where this all spawns from. She wants you to be able to come in and feel comfortable, and that's it. What I mean? Like,
well, it's cool after all these years. That's why I was kind of, since we got to start doing this, I was actually looking forward to this interview, and it's cool. He gave me more insight than I expected. I thought it's just good times, because that's how it was. Like we were talking about, what'd you say, 34 Jaegers that she counted?
Yeah. It was 38.
It was a lot.
I didn't even believe it. I'm like, I drank 38 fucking Jaeger shots. I need a fucking doctor. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was crazy
good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also been looking forward to this one because I knew you'd be insightful in it, and especially with the success that you had with all your spots. Like I knew it'd be interesting to hear about.
Oh, it's fun. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, hopefully a lot of your employees get to hear from different, and they get to kind of understand, because a lot of people probably don't. As you grow more, they don't. I'm sure the vision's passed, but like to hear it from you is probably kind of going to be cool.
Absolutely.
I would.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that works in our group has definitely heard this stuff for sure. But yeah, I just think that, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, there's certain people that do like it and have it, and there's certain people that don't. And it is a skill. Like I can teach you how to be a server in 30 seconds. Like, go to that table, ask them what they want, and then go get it, and then bring it back. I just trained you. Like that. That's how to be a bargain basement, absolute worst server possible, right? and so then there's the other one at the very top that they anticipate customer needs to the degree in which the individual doesn't need to ask for it, and not only that, but there's a comfort level that they feel like they're at their house, without having to be at their house where they're having to clean up anything or anything like that. Like they're just catered to at such a level that they're just like, yeah, I'm at home and I feel cool with this person. This person's not, like how they approached you at Banzai. Like they didn't recognize there's a big rabbit hole here, but there's stars and then there's kings. And a star is like maybe how you are. A star is a person that comes in and likes attention and likes, a star is somebody you go, want some shots? And a star will go, yep, I do. And a king is a type of person that wants to be catered to, but once you stay at a distance, and they'll tell you when they need you by doing some body language movement, and they expect you to see their body language.
I'm a king.
Yeah. So am I. So like a king will do something like this. They'll just kind of like have their drink empty and then they'll shift. Then like they won't ask her, but the star will be like, "What's up?" Like "What's up, Stacy? What's up, Stacy? Hey, we're ready." A star will do something like that. You want shots too? Yeah, we want shots too. That's like that's a star type of a behavior. And then there's those two types of people, but you hire that way too. you were definitely not a king when you were working. You're very musy type of a person, so that like musy people are like people that like know everybody. There's high fives all around. They're and then you want to back those types of people up with like workhorses. You don't want two of you on one shift because they'll butt heads and it'll be a problem.
Right.
So you want to like build. You're
quarterback. Staffing everything like a
you'll quarterback it.
One
So
quarterback.
you'll quarterback the shift, and then you'll fill up people with people like me that'll support, like making sure this and that and blah 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 while you're hitting up the people.
And you could see that when at certain bars, like that management did good on what they're on the hiring the right people. So
yeah, we come in and we analyze that stuff shift by shift. Roster is a giant thing, and so like any good, like we treat it like a football team. So like every meeting is basically we go over roster and schedule. So you go over it, and we have notes on, like, similar to when you call AT&T.
Everyone's critiquing, and you're getting...
You write notes on when's the last time you spoke with a person, and then so you'll go, oh, I see 3 days ago you spoke with Stacy about X, Y, and Z. Okay, and then, oh, here's 10 days. You haven't spoke to this person in 10 days.
Are you using technology for that? Or
yeah, we use different apps and things like that we touch in and make sure that happens.
Finger on the pulse. That's got to be tough with 8 spots. I understand why you want to maybe cap that shit a little bit if you want to focus more. That's a big thing. Like I appreciate it. It's funny on that same note. Like I'm still old school, and like I share it with Carrie or with my daughter when we go to a restaurant. I hate when kids say, "Do you want this?" or "Do you want ranch?" No, it's "Would you like ranch?" It's would. It's not do you want. Like there's certain things there's certain words and terminologies that make your guest experience so much better.
I hate
another. I would never say, do you want ranch with that, or do you want fries? Like, would you like fries with that?
Yeah.
Like that's so much more accommodating.
Yeah. I don't focus on in that way, but I appreciate that. But I don't like when somebody says another at all. Like if you're having a drink and somebody goes up to you and says, "Would you like another glass of wine?" Now I have to count in my mind. Well, how many have I had?
Don't say another.
Don't say another.
That's same thing.
Yeah. What you say is, "Ready for a glass of wine?"
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, I am.
Would you like a glass of wine?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You ready? And you point at the glass of wine. You nod your head yes. You ready for a glass of wine? Yes, I am ready for a glass of wine.
Fucking A.
You want another glass of wine? I don't know if I want another
glass of wine. Another?
Yeah, wow.
It stacks.
Yeah, I've had so many.
Another stacks.
But
if you just say, no, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Are you ready for a cocktail?
Yeah.
Are you ready for a shot?
Not even Bud Light?
Ready for a Bud Light? Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Bud Light?
Another is a bad word. You're right.
Yeah.
Do we dare tap into freaking... I know it's Friday 13. We're doing this recording. Do we talk about the coronavirus at all? How it's affecting it?
Okay. We'll do a little bit. Let's just ask Chad like his take on it. And we can talk about coronavirus for hours. Has it affected, or do you see any effect on your business?
I think it's really early to for sure to figure out what's going on. I think that last night I could see, the giant, that was like a major boom yesterday. The markets go down fucking outrageously, right? So, but it's also the weekend. It's also the Thursday moving into St. Patrick's Day. So sometimes that's traditionally a little bit of a slower day.
Yeah.
So you don't really know.
Because it's on Tuesday.
Right, but I think
everyone will do the Saturday.
Everyone will do the Friday, Saturday, Sunday
always
thing.
do the weekend.
Yeah. So we don't really know. When I was looking at the spots today, it looked like there was a nice buzz, but definitely everyone's talking about it.
Spending their money on the grocery stores.
Oh, but I mean, it's more. It's like there's just such a buzz about it that's like it's all anybody wants to talk about, and that's a difficult conversation to have in the middle of a restaurant. Like that's going to hurt vibe for sure.
Vibe, yes.
And so like
that's why I knew I didn't want to touch on it too long. But
having something to talk about is good, but not if it's something that pertains to health.
That's a hard conversation to have with a guest, right? So like
and then cough.
Yeah, right. I don't. We have different like things that we're trying to do to show the guests that we're being proactive and going around with Lysol and spraying tables whenever anybody's leaving and going through everything. Things that we didn't do previous.
Smart.
Like so I make sure it's a brand name bottle that they know. Lysol or something like walk through with Lysol. Yeah, like basically raise that through and then show everybody what's up.
That's smart.
But I think that other than that, there's not much you can do. And I don't think that it's realistic to think that when these businesses, like, because it almost feels like December, like it feels like we're going to a holiday season to me. Like the vibe has this like I'm not going to work type of vibe,
It does.
and when that vibe happens, generally it's very difficult not to end up going to the bars or going to the restaurants.
Correct. People will be there.
Yeah, and then when they canceled school, I'd be absolutely shocked if
People are not there.
people are not there, because like how are you going to sit in your house with a kid for more than 24 hours?
Exactly.
No fucking way.
That's what I
You
think.
know, I'll either kill myself for sure
Yeah.
or risk coronavirus.
'cause,
You
yeah,
know, like,
I think we should have a drink.
I'll roll the fucking
yeah,
dice.
right. Yeah, this is a
I'll sit
certainty.
in a bar,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. yeah
put a fucking mask on if I have
Should we
to.
do a drink tonight?
Huh?
We should do a drink tonight, not follow.
Oh, we'll go and have a drink today
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, booze will kill it.
All right, well, I'm not going to bother you with my Facebook question because it kind of ties in with the coronavirus, because I always ask someone, like, I ask because now
Trollers.
I'm 40-something, and Facebook people drive me nuts with the crybaby,
Yeah, let's ask
Hallmarky shit. Like, does that shit drive you nuts when people are always posting, like, these sappy,
Because what
like,
media are you?
Hallmarky,
Are you on Twitter,
positive-
Facebook, and all that?
I'm on all of them because, you know, like for the businesses,
Well, you have to be.
it's unfortunate because I don't really want to be on it, but it sucks me in because of the business,
Yeah.
because I'm looking, because I have to look.
You
So
have
so
to.
so I'm like, you know, I'm in this space, and I know what you mean. I think that what you probably have the issue with, and the same as me, is just it's disingenuous, you know, like
Totally.
and there's like this hypocrisy to it, this level of like, dude, come on, man. Like,
Like,
I know you. You know, like
That's
I
not
like
you.
that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
you. Like,
You're
you know,
not this sympathetic
Yeah,
crybaby
come on,
bullshit.
dude,
Like,
yeah.
look, it's almost like you post it like, look at me, I like really care.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah,
oh, like if I get one more person posting a suicide fucking
Oh, you
depression
kidding me?
there's tons,
post,
there's tons of them, and I do have an issue with that, to where it's like, you know, come on, man. You know, like let's just be real a little bit. You know,
or the person who is depressive or suicidal and gets on Facebook or any of the other platforms and talks about their issues, like, go see a doctor, don't go see Facebook. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is wrong with
So
you? Like,
that's what I like to teach. That's the secret.
that's where I really get fucking
I think there's a level of like, you know, where they want to have this conversation of like, hey, it's about me. You know,
It's a me
you know,
thing,
it's a
totally.
me thing.
People
some-
don't realize that but they think it is. It's really about them.
Yeah, you know, like, I mean, I life is tough. Everybody understands life is tough. Like, you don't got to tell me life's tough.
Fucking
It is,
deal with it.
you know, like,
How hard is that to explain? But some people just don't get it. They get.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
I don't
just
know.
want that self-assurement. Like, how many people really care about me?
But
if
they
I say
train their
this
brain.
and
They
I
just
act
gotta
like I really need
retrain it.
something. Like, shut the fuck up. Everyone's got problems.
it's like baiting a compliment.
Much more
too.
than yours.
It's like,
Like,
people
totally
you know,
baiting.
back in the day, like a lot of people would, you know, like bait compliments in some way, you know, like, you know, do I look good in this dress? Or, you know, like, of course you look good in that dress. Are you fucking kidding? Come on. What the fuck are we talking about?
It's a new way
You
of
know,
doing
like,
it.
Yeah, it's like this new way, but it's all victim based in some way. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You said everything that's like tornadoing
yeah,
in my head.
I-
This victim, mimi bullshit. Oh,
Yeah.
We just hope you. We were not that mean at them. PC. I'm all being PC.
I mean,
mental
I
health.
am. I don't give a fuck. I troll all of them.
I have.
Just get some pills.
If I'm being, if I being completely honest, I have looked at them from time to time and gone, oh, that was a nice one. But I mean, you know, that's one out of 1,000 that I see. Where I
Yeah,
was like,
if
you
it's
know,
2 sentences.
Yeah, right.
When there's one that's this fucking long where I have to scroll
yeah,
to
yeah,
read it all, I'm like, ain't nobody got time for that.
yeah, right.
No, thank you.
Yeah, like if I wanted your creative writing class, I'd buy your book. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, Chad. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you
thanks
for the
you guys for
insight.
having us.
This has been
It
our
was
longest
actually
show. To be
absolutely-
honest, it's been awesome because it just
cool.
flowed. Like we honestly,
I knew we'd have I knew this would be a good one because I told him in the first half, let's cut this first half short because I know we're going to flow with Chad and it's
Oh,
going to
cool.
be fucking great.
Right on.
'Cause there's so much stuff to talk about. Again, thank you so much.
Yeah.
He's been looking forward to this for a long time. So
Cool.
sorry it took a couple times
Good times.
to handle it.
good podcast number 14. We'll have him
Number
on hopefully
14,
around
Lucky 14,
50
Friday the
or
13th, lucky show. Again, if you guys are ever out in the, let's see, Point Loma, let's give Rocky a shout.
Yeah.
Eastbound in the hills.
Yeah,
Eastbound
Rocky.
Hills, yeah.
Lakeside in La Mesa, you guys.
I like
hit up
that
these
place a
spots. They're all great spots. You're going to get the same customer service at every one of them that everyone raves about. The food's great at all of them.
And if somebody doesn't treat anybody right, please just say something, because there's nothing that won't happen in order to make that person happy. And it's not like it every single time's a fucking ace. You know what I mean? Sometimes it goes bad. Just,
We're humans.
Just let people know, and all we want to do is fix it. So.
Yep.
I like
Cool.
that.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, upcoming guests, we will have Mr. DJ Junior, aka Mr. Sticker, on board soon. I believe our next guest is going to be Gar Fry of Street Evil Studios, and also bar owner at Desi's, also here in Point Loma. With that being said, do you have
No,
anything
just
else you wanna
just
touch on?
word from our sponsors. Loved the show and it was a great time.
All right. Again, our final sponsor plug is National Fire Protection. If you've got a restaurant, hotel, any kind of commercial business, you need fire protection, whether it be sprinkler, fire extinguisher, fire alarm, you name it, look no further than National Fire Protection. You can reach them at www.nfpti.com, or you can call them at 1-800-966-4697. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you very much.
Right on.